Let me ask you a question. Is your retirement target mathematically wrong? There is a very good chance that the massive number your financial advisor wrote on the whiteboard is artificially inflated. Why? Well, because it's built on a system that is literally incentivized to keep you in fear, just so you keep paying those hefty management fees. Welcome, deep divers, to an explainer that is going to fundamentally change how you view the math behind your hard-earned savings.
Today, we're stepping back into the deep dive classroom to unlearn some incredibly expensive myths. We are going to look past the industry scare tactics and dive straight into the hard historical math. By the end of this lesson, you're going to uncover two hidden checkpoints that completely rewrite the rules of retirement. I want you to grab your notebooks, get comfortable, and really pause to reflect on your own numbers as we go. All right, let's get into it.
Concept 1. Escape velocity.
To truly understand how your money behaves over time, you need to picture a rocket, aggressively fighting gravity to reach orbit. When you first start saving, you are the engine. Your own personal contributions, every dollar you scrape together from your paycheck, are doing almost all of the heavy lifting. But once you cross a very specific mathematical threshold, you achieve escape velocity. Suddenly, compound momentum takes over, and the math becomes the engine. You go from pushing the rocket to just sitting back as a passenger.
Checkpoint 2. Debunking the $100,000 myth. You've probably heard the famous Charlie Munger quote, "The first $100,000 is the hardest." Now, he was absolutely right about the psychology of compounding. But here's the catch. He said that way back in 1994. Because inflation has drastically shifted the goalposts, adjusted for today's purchasing power, $250,000 is your true mathematical checkpoint. At exactly $250,000, your investment returns finally start contributing more dollars to your portfolio than your own personal savings do. The math is officially doing the heavy lifting.
Let's look at an everyday example to see how this feels in reality. Consider a hardworking middle-class saver named Marcus. Marcus has diligently saved $230,000 over 16 long years. He is incredibly frustrated. He feels completely stuck, thinking he is nowhere near his ultimate goal. But what he's completely unaware of is that he's only $20,000 away from his money doing the heavy lifting. Once he hits $250K, his portfolio will mathematically double every 10 years without him contributing an extra dime. He is right on the verge of escape velocity, but he feels like he's failing. Have you ever felt like Marcus? Just totally stuck in the grind, not realizing how incredibly close you are to the math taking over.
Checkpoint 3. Rethinking the 4% rule.
Once you ride that momentum past the first checkpoint, you eventually approach the second major milestone. And this one completely dismantles the famous 4% rule you've been taught to fear all these years. See, the financial industry took William Benjamin's original 4% rule, which, by the way, was explicitly designed as a worst-case scenario floor based on retiring right into the massive stagflation of the 1970s, and they deceitfully repackaged it to you as a maximum ceiling. But the data shows even Benjamin himself has updated his safe withdrawal rate to 4.7% for the current market. And rigorous research by Michael Kitces shows the historical average withdrawal rate is actually closer to 6%.
So what does this all mean for your actual target? Because that historical average is closer to 6%, the real second checkpoint where the math clears for most professionals isn't $1 million. It's not $1.2 million. It is just $800,000. That is the number where the fear the industry sells you absolutely runs out of mathematical justification.
Let's break this down by looking at Sandra's runway. Sandra hits $800,000 by age 56. By combining a highly safe 5% withdrawal rate, which gives her $40,000, with her expected Social Security of $44,400, she generates a total income of $84,400. That securely replaces over 75% of her household working income, and she does this nearly a decade before Medicare even kicks in. The math says she is ready. Do a quick mental calculation for yourself. What does a 5% withdrawal look like on your current target number?
Checkpoint 4. The behavioral threat.
Okay, so what's the biggest threat to this mathematical reality? Believe it or not, it isn't a stock market crash. It's not a recession. It's you. Specifically, it's you panicking and selling during a temporary downturn. Vanguard's behavioral data clearly proves that emotional trading destroys wealth. When your balance gets large enough, a 10% drop feels terrifying. To survive this phase, you must prepare your discipline like an instrument pilot flying through zero-visibility clouds. You have to distrust your gut specifically because it will feel absolutely correct when it is catastrophically wrong. When the market drops, your gut will scream at you to sell. Don't do it. Trust the historical math, not your gut fear.
Checkpoint 5. Building tax architecture. As your portfolio shifts from you driving to the math driving, your focus has to pivot. You have to transition toward defending those gains against wealth managers and the IRS. This requires what we call tax architecture. This means structuring your retirement savings across different account types right now during your accumulation phase to strategically manage and lower your lifetime taxable income. You have to build this structural flexibility before you actually need it.
Here's why. This is absolutely crucial. Hitting $800,000 in a default traditional 401k is mathematically inferior to hitting $800,000 structured across a mix of different account types. If you only have a traditional 401k, every single dollar you withdraw is fully taxed as ordinary income. It's totally rigid. But a mixed structure, combining Roth and traditional accounts, allows you to pull from different buckets. This lets you strategically avoid pushing yourself into higher tax brackets during retirement. Think about your own setup right now. Are all your savings locked into just one tax bucket?
And while we're on the subject of defending your wealth from the industry, we have to talk about fees. To put this into perspective, a mere 1% active management fee on a $300,000 balance costs you roughly $170,000 in foregone compound growth over 30 years. Read that again. That is $170,000 handed over to a fund manager who, statistically speaking, is probably going to underperform the basic index anyway. Checkpoint 6. The real retirement risk.
Which brings us to the tragic human irony of the wealth management industry's entire fear-based ecosystem. The actual risk at the end of your journey isn't running out of money. We see heartbreaking cases like David. David mathematically cleared escape velocity at $800,000 by age 54. But out of pure fear, he kept grinding until 62 just to build a statistical cushion. Sure, he ended up replacing 134% of his working income, but he realized too late that his real non-renewable resource wasn't money, it was healthy time with his wife, whose health declined during those extra years he worked. He built escape velocity, but his fear stopped him from ever using it.
Section 7. Key takeaways for deep divers. Let's summarize the biggest ideas from today's lesson so you can apply them directly to your own financial life. First, update your escape velocity target to $250,000. Second, realize your money can historically support a higher withdrawal rate than the 4% industry floor. Third, start building your mixed tax architecture today. Get some of that Roth exposure going. And fourth, protect your returns from unnecessary active management fees. When the math says you're ready, trust it. I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Are you grinding past your escape velocity at the cost of your time? I want you to practice what you've learned today by recalculating your own runway. Drop your questions and any topic suggestions in the comments below. I always love reading them. And hey, if this lesson helped clear the fog for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the affiliate links below, and definitely visit our Fourth Wall merchandise shop. Class dismissed. Deep divers, I'll see you in the next one.